Happy Halloween. And I'm going to try to make it through this video without having too much of a lisp because these teeth are making me speak with a lisp. For some reason I remember this movie and My Best Friend's a Vampire as the same movie. All I remembered was an ice cream truck, someone drinking blood from raw meat, and a dance sequence, but I couldn't remember which movie it was from. I love the beginning of this movie with the vampire's familiar walking through the house adjusting everything. I heard Pratel's voice in my head. And the category is Vampiric Familiar Realness. This character's name is Sebastian and he makes this movie. One of my favorite scenes in the movie is when the Countess is looking for Sebastian, why are there so many S's today, and says, "Sebastian, come out of the closet." He walks out of the closet wearing this gorgeous lounge frock and says, "I came out of the closet centuries ago." The Countess's house is amazing. I also like all the references to Countess Elizabeth Bathory. From the main vampire's name to her mentioning Austrian peasant girls. Countess Elizabeth Bathory was a noblewoman and a prolific serial killer. She's actually noted in the Guinness Book of World Records as the most prolific serial killer. At the time of her trial, she was tried for 650 murders. But some say she may have killed as many as 800 peasant girls. She used to have virginal peasant girls brought to her castle where she killed them and drained them of their blood. She would fill a bathtub with their blood and bathe in it. Fun fact, that's where we get the name Bath from. Her name. She believed that bathing in the blood of virgins would make her eternally youthful. And though she may have killed over 800 peasant girls, she only got caught when she messed around and started killing the daughters of local gentry. Gentry are above peasants but lower than nobility. Anyway, the Countess in this movie is loosely based off Countess Elizabeth Bathory. Except she goes after peasant boys. Her mansion even looks like a castle. In this movie there are homages to the Universal Bela Lugosi Dracula movies and also the Hammer horror Dracula movies. Jim Carrey is great in this movie. His facial and physical comedy is gold. Lauren Hutton was one of the most famous supermodels of the 80s. Around this time they really liked putting models with personalities into movies. Do you remember Kelly LeBrock in Weird Science? Lauren is up there with Iman, Beverly Johnson, and Grace Jones. Sort of part of that first wave of supermodels. The second wave came in the 90s with Naomi Campbell, Claudia Schiffer, Linda Evangelista, and Cindy Crawford. And I know somebody's going to say, what about Tyra? Tyra Banks does have a place in history for being the first black model on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and she bounced between different styles of modeling. Her and Christy Brinkley are legends in their own right, but it's a different type of modeling. Tyra is an icon because of her Victoria's Secret modeling, in my opinion. I always kind of separate her and Kimora Lee from the rest because they're just slightly younger and I feel like they came out more so in the later 90s. I mean, they were modeling at the same time, but they were 13 and 14 when Naomi and Claudia and all of them were grown women. So technically they're kind of part of the same generation of models, but they're kind of not because they're so much younger than the other models. Just look at how beautiful Tyra and Kimora looked. I think they're still friends to this day and still gorgeous. Who is my favorite model of all time, you didn't ask? Naomi Campbell, and her walk is everything in my life. She also walked, blessed Victoria's Secret with her presence. A living goddess. Back to the movie. This was a really fun movie, especially to watch on Halloween. It's a horror comedy. It's written up as a sex comedy, I think. I love it for being the classic 80s horror movie that it is. It's just a fun movie. But like I always say, don't take my word for it, watch it for yourself. Just because I love something doesn't mean you won't hate it, and just because I hate something doesn't mean you won't love it. Have you seen Once Bitten? Did you like it? Let me know in the comments. Bye.